Tuesday, October 8th. It was like any other Tuesday. I had a case, and my secretary was keeping me on track and away from the booze. But unlike any other Tuesday, this case came with trouble written all over it. Trouble I gladly would have avoided had it not been for... Vivian Cole came in after the office was closed on Monday. Eileen never locked the door when I was still in the office, letting Vivian waltz in and turn my life upside down. The case? Her inheritance, she claimed, had been stolen from her. Stolen from her by the last person whose name I wanted to hear. Josephine Richmond. Any other moment in any other day, I would have turned her down then and there. I don't know what changed then, but I took her case. Josephine Richmond. She was not the sort of woman who hid. Tuesday, October 8th. Josephine always had a taste for finer things. Music was never my forte. The first words Josephine said to me were, "I didn't expect to see you here. Do I need a reason to see her?" But everyone needs a reason to see Josephine these days. It's been over a year since we last spoke. Whose fault is that? Yours, Josephine claims. She was only half wrong. But I wasn't there to bring up the past and relive old arguments. I needed her to tell me about Vivian's father, Oliver Cole, and try to find the answers to the stolen inheritance. She claimed there was no story to tell. Why should I believe her? "Have I ever lied to you before?" she asked. "He's nobody. He means nothing to me, and nobodies are meaningless." Everyone means nothing to Josephine these days, personal history or not. She was born into power and would not so easily release it. Not for anyone, not for nobodies. Wednesday, October 9th, Josephine's office. No one had noticed me come in. The amount of time I had to search dwindled with every second that passed. In earlier days, that might have been the end of this whole thing. She knew I was looking into Oliver and Vivian Cole's money, and any further investigation on my part would end somewhere bad. But this wasn't the end. Gotcha. What we had was over, and I'd be damned if I was gonna let her win again so easily. I'd worn out my welcome. I had a narrow window to finish this case up and get out of town. I gave Vivian a ring to get to the office. As soon as she had the money, I'd split. Once Josephine noticed the missing cash, she'd know I'd taken it, and then there was no hope for me at all. It was only by chance that I noticed... No, everything was suddenly starting to make sense in a terrible way. She knows I have the money. There's no other reason to call her here. She's good. Smart. She's gonna keep playing the game. She was right about Josephine having the money. She was nearly right about me. I tell her as much. The game is over. She knows it, but she's not gonna go down without a fight. "I'm surprised you figured it out," she said. "I thought the name Josephine Richmond would throw you for a loop." It almost did. I won't deny her victory. She was far too clever to rob Josephine herself, but set up a story about stolen inheritance and come to me for help, well, it was a clever plan. But she'd lost. "I didn't want it to come to this," she claims. Of course she didn't. Stealing was one thing, but she didn't want to get herself wrapped up in a murder. She tells me to think again. I never thought I'd wish that it had been Josephine who did me in. But Josephine had lost to Vivian, and I was almost glad I wouldn't be around to see what happened when Josephine got her revenge on Vivian for stealing her money and her chance to beat me. I could hear Eileen calling the police, but I could only think of Josephine. I guess we both lost.